Ashe greetings and grand rising, a grand day, and peace and goodwill to you all once again, my fellow natural native earthly humans. You, the earth's organic humans and soulful humans. You, my fellow humans with souls, the world over. You don't know, I am yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And many thanks for stopping by and giving up your time to listen to another perspective with yours truly, I, the mystic philosopher. And welcome to part 9. And this the continuation of the great big black and white lie exposed, in which my main objectives are as follows. Number 1 is to show and prove to you all, my fellow highly melanin and highly carbon skin complexion, natural native earthly humans, why we should not and why we must not call ourselves black. Number 2 is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not pronounce upon ourselves the word black or allow others to pronounce upon us the word black. And number 3, why we should not and why we must not identify ourselves with the word black. Why we should not answer to the word black and allow others to call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on us black. A black people, a black community, a black business, a black nation, a black country, a black race of people, etc. Number 4, and by the same token, it is to show and prove to you why we should not and why we must not call, label, list, identify, name, and bestow on Caucasian or anyone or any other melanin deficient or melanin and carbon deficient race of people, for that matter, the word white. Number 5 is to show and prove to you that the English word white, or more correctly, the English word black, is a curse word. It is a word that brings only bad luck, a bad omen, subjugation, humiliation, mental and physical enslavement and misfortune and much, much more upon all those whom it has been called, cast and broadcast and recast and rebroadcast, etc. Number 6, to show and prove to you that the earth and her inhabitants are under the spell and the curse of blackness. Number 7 is to show and prove from the Caucasoid imperialist and Caucasoid colonizers' own dictionaries, namely the English dictionaries, that the people that have been called, named, labeled, and listed themselves as white people and are calling, naming, labeling, and listing themselves white are not at all white. It is to show and prove to you that nothing about them is at all white. In fact, it is to also show and prove that if or when most things, if not all things, are intelligently, meticulously, honestly, seriously, and sincerely considered, most of them, if not all of them, are black. They are the real and true black people. They are the real and true black ones. Yes, the real black people. And thus, and in accordance to their own English dictionaries, meanings and definitions of the word black, coupled with their works, coupled with their actions, their history, and their own track record, most of them, if not all of them, are the ones that should and must be called, labeled, listed, and named black. I ask that you please stay tuned and pay close attention to this point as I delve deeper and deeper into this topic. And it is also to show and prove that not all the people that are called, labeled, listed, and named black are indeed black. Number 8 is to show and prove to you that this, our current existence upon this planet, is a game, and one in which we, melanin and carbon skin complexion people, are being played like pawns on a chessboard. It's a game that is heavily stacked against us. And that in order to change the game in our favor, at least to get some fairness, we have to change the name and all its synonyms. We have to change the name black and all its synonyms and euphemisms as well. Change the name, we change the game. Now, no doubt, you, my watchers and listeners, have heard this saying before. And I quote, repetition is the mother of learning. Spacing is the mother of retention, unquote. So before I continue where I left off in part 8, let me give you a heads up by telling you or letting you know that there will be a lot of repetitions and quotes in my presentations and in this presentation. The purpose of which is to reinforce the points that I have already made and the points that I'm making and will continue to make. I do hope you will understand and bear with me. Let me also give you another heads up and let you know that this part 9 will be a bit longer than usual and that I would longer than I would like to, but hopefully after you listen to it, you will understand why and not be bored, or even as you are listening to it. So according to the third meaning and definition of the word black from the aforementioned English dictionary, the Winston Canadian Dictionary for Schools, black is defined as two, A and B. A, threatening. Black is defined, means and defined as threatening. We dealt with some of that in part 8. And B, black is defined as sullen. Black means sullen. Sullen, S-U-L-L-E-N, as black looks. But I will get back to B later, sullen later. You may also recall that I told you that according to the English dictionaries, the word black is an adjective. And the purpose of an adjective is, and again I quote, a part of speech expressing quality or condition, a word used to limit or define a noun or a pronoun, unquote. In other words, an adjective is a word that is used to describe, limit and define the noun or the pronoun. Therefore, the word black, an adjective, is both describing, defining, and limiting the noun man. It is defining him, the man, meaning it is describing and stating his intrinsic nature, his indispensable quality, and his characteristics. It is telling us what manner of man he is. It is telling us all there is to know about him, and as such, what should, can, and must be expected of him. For reasoning and educational purposes, let me dissect the following news headline. Quote, a white police officer shot and unalive a black man. Now, please note that it did not say that a white police officer shot and unalive a man. And nor did it say that a white police officer shot and unalive an innocent man. But it said a white police officer shot and unalive a black man. Now, if the word black is the adjective that defines the noun man, and if the word black means threatening, then the question that one with an active and inquisitive mind would ask is this: what kind of man is a black man? And the answer is a black man is a threatening man. A black man is a man that threatens people. And according to this newspaper headline, what kind of man did the police officer shot and unalive? And the answer to that question is simple. The police officer shot and unalived a black man, aka a threatening man. A black man, aka a threatening man who, by his intrinsic nature, by his indispensable characteristics and quality, poses a threat to him or her, the police officer. And what exactly is a threat? Well, according to one online Google dictionary, a threat is, and I quote, a statement of an intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. That's one. Two, a threat is a person or thing likely to cause damage or danger, unquote. Now, from these two meanings and definitions of the word threat or of a threat, we can conclude that every threatening man, aka every black man, is likely to cause damage or danger. Another way of looking at threat, from my perspective, threat equal the frequencies, the destructive energies, the spells, and the curses, etc., that are enveloped, that are encapsulated in the black compound. What's the black compound? The word black. The word black is one that is intent on causing or inflicting harm, danger, pain, suffering, miseries, or even death. Now, and our honest and natural instinct plus basic logic coupled with activated common sense will affirm that all threats will, should, and must be subdued, neutralized, and eliminated by any and every means necessary. Some threats are eliminated naturally and unnaturally. Some legally and others illegally, but the fact still remains that both humans and animals alike will eliminate any and all forms of threats. To them, anything that threatens them, they try to get rid of it. I ask that you please note as well that the article headline did not say that the police officer shot and unalive an innocent man. Nor did it say an innocent black man. The police officer shot and unalive an innocent black man. But it said that he or she shot and unalived a black man. And why not an innocent black man, you may ask? It is because a black man, by his intrinsic nature, by his indispensable quality and characteristics, is a guilty man. The moment you identify a black man, you identify trouble. The moment you see a black man, you see trouble. The moment you hear about a black man, you hear about what? Trouble. Because a black man is nothing but trouble. Therefore, the statement or the phrase, an innocent black man, is not only a misnomer, but it is irrational, nonsensical, and unrealistic as well. An innocent black man may only be described as being innocent of a crime or something that he has been falsely accused of. But by definition, he is guilty of other crimes. A black man in black is the opposite of innocence. For example, a black man may be imprisoned for unaliving someone or some people, and while he's behind bars, he was accused and charged for another heinous crime that the evidence shows or will show or has shown that the crime was committed while he was in the custody of the police and behind bars. So he didn't do that crime. And as you shall also shortly see and learn that a black man is an evil man. According to the imperialist and colonialist history and holy Bible, aka holy book, aka the Adamic race history and holy book, commonly known as the Christian holy Bible. Christian parents are told, and I quote, to train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it, unquote, from the King James Version. And from another version, and I quote, start children off in the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it, unquote. That was from the New International Version, and I just read Proverbs 22 verse 6. Now, picture this analogy, or imagine, if you will, this scenario wherein a Christian Caucasian child has been told all his or her life that he or she is white, and that his or her mark of identity for being white is his or her pale skin complexion, or even more accurate and scientific, his or her melanin deficient skin complexion. And as I shall show and prove to you from the English dictionaries, coupled with basic logic and activated common sense, that in the Caucasian language, their culture, their tradition, culture, and practice, white is superior to black. We learn more about that as we get along. Just imagine this pale skin Christian Caucasian child being taught and indoctrinated with that erroneous and deceptive Christian ideology by his or her Christian parents, who themselves are victims, having been deceived by their Christian parents into thinking that they are white, and that white is the opposite. That white is the opposite of black. That white is superior to black. That white is good and black is evil, etc. Just imagine that child also being taught that the identity of a black man or a black woman is his or her highly enriched melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion. Just imagine that Christian child growing up believing that lie. For argument's sake, and for the sake of this discussion, let us name that child, that imaginary child, Little Johnny, if it's a boy, or Becky, if it's a girl. Now just imagine that Christian child, Little Johnny or Becky, grew up and becoming a police officer, and whose job as a police officer and responsibility, and especially as a no-nonsense police officer, is to get rid of threats and to keep his or her white community safe from all threats. Now, how do you expect this individual and others like him or her to behave contrary to how he or she was taught, trained, and grew up as a child? Do you honestly and sensibly expect him or her to now magically see a man, a woman, or a child that he was taught to be black, and one that he sincerely believed from the core of his or her being to be black, and as such threatening, and is his or her inferior? Do you now think that he can have genuine feelings or empathy for a man, woman, or child that in his heart, mind, and in his heart and in his mind he or she perceived to be a black man or a black woman or a black child? Please think about this. Now, can you or can any of you, my listeners and watchers, if not all of you, my listeners and watchers, understand, and understand that if or when a Christian cop or any other race cop, a Caucasian cop or any other race cop for that matter, who have been brought up under the aforementioned scenario or under the aforementioned circumstances, if or when he or she unalive one of us, the highly enriched melanin and highly enriched carbon skin complexion brother or sister that the evil system named, labeled, listed, and called black, and if or when that happened, he or she state that the reason for the unaliving is because he or she felt threatened, can any of you not see or agree that his or her claim for feeling threatened can or might be true? Now, hopefully some of you may begin to know, understand, and understand when you may have heard yours truly, I the Mystic P, say that black is the mark of death, aka black means you are marked to die in the system. Now, hopefully some of you may begin to know, understand, and understand why some, if not all, Caucasian cops will unalive us, and in their minds, in their hearts, in their souls, and in their conscience, if any, they feel and experience no guilt or experience any remorse. No, hopefully some of you may begin to know, understand, and understand why the so-called white supremacists, aka also known as the ignoramuses, or more correctly, the real and true black ones the world over, are not afraid to slaughter us and do all manner of evil to us. Now, hopefully you will understand, and understand why you should and why you must get rid of, why we all should and must get rid of everything black that have been cast, recast, broadcast, and rebroadcast, the spell that have been cast and rebroadcast upon us. Now, in the interest of time, this will be the end of part 9. I'll get back to these things. Stay tuned. So please stay tuned and join me in the continuation in part 10. There, I will pick up right back where I left off here, because we're going to exhaust this thing. Thanks for watching and listening. And your comments, your feed forward, your feedback, and your comments, and your rebuttal, whatever, I'm open, will be gladly received and appreciated. So here's willing that in your becoming that you be more and more, you become more and more and much, much more, and definitely don't let no one bless you. Not less. Don't be less. Be more. For I am the mystic philosopher. Ashe, 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 I say. Thanks. Full joy and share and help provoke this topic elsewhere. Thanks.